What's up guys, I'm James and welcome to BootWizard Boot Reviews. Now, about 10 days ago or so, I did a Q&A, did it live. And before we jumped into the Q&A, like for the week before, I asked for your questions, anything you wanted to know, put it down and we would answer it in the live feed. Well, you guys who jumped onto the live feed had so many questions. You asked so many awesome questions that we just didn't have time. We went over an hour, I think, answering the questions that came up in the live. I got very few of the pre-requested questions answered. So try saying that quick. Pre-requested questions answered. I'm good at that. And today we're going to rectify that. I basically want to answer all of the questions that you put down before the live stream that I didn't answer already. So roll the intro and let's get straight into it. Remember to like and subscribe. We're going to kick off with Andrew Palmer 5, who has asked me, what are the best boots for wet days? Well, actually, I just did a video on SG Pro stud patterns and kind of the different impacts and effects that they have. So that's worth checking out. But for me, the ones I would go to are the Phantom GTs, my SG Phantom GTs, which are here. Knew I had them somewhere. So yeah, these are kind of my go-to. They don't let in too much. They don't get too kind of wet because of the GT generative texture top coating. Of course, the Flyknit gets pretty muddy and wet, and these are white, which is a really terrible colorway to pick for a pair of SG boots. But hey, it's done now. So yeah, those are my go-tos. But honestly, careful where you throw your boots. Check out the video. You get some good options there. Next up, David B. Trainer. I know David. David, welcome. Hi. We've known each other for a long time. Is the fact that many colorways being released every month the reason sporting goods stores don't carry elite models anymore? So why do some sporting goods stores not carry the elite models? Well, the answer is actually down to their contracts with each company individually. I'll use Nike as an example. Most stores are ranked. They have a certain agreement with Nike, and that is how that affects what they get in, with how many colorways, what level of boots they get in, all that kind of stuff. So some may get some colorways in the top end models, but not all of them. They'll get what's known as the inline colorways, but maybe not special editions, maybe not disruptor packs. Others will get everything. Unisport, for example, is a good example there. So it really depends on each individual company's relationship with the brand, basically, how they get their boots, what the vendor is. I don't think it has a lot to do with the number of colorways that are coming out. Hope that answers that question. Football Fantasist, I apologize, I did not get around to your question in the original Q&A, so let's jump into it. What's your footballing history and what do you most enjoy about the game except boots? Well, my footballing history is I'm not very good at football. I can play. I'm a goalkeeper. I've played outfield. I've played amateur football. I have coached at a higher level than I have played both in England, in Australia. I coached at a reasonable level in England particularly. I've got qualifications up to a UEFA B license. But in terms of playing history, casual play, like I've never been semi-pro or anything like that. But I kind of stopped playing a few years ago, or I didn't play a lot. I play a lot more kind of friendly stuff from a few years ago, which is why I really got into the channel and the boots, because I wanted to stay connected with that, because that's the thing that I like the most. And apart from the boots, I suppose the thing I enjoy most at the moment is actually the boot community. I realize that's kind of a cheat answer, but it's all the people that are involved with boots that I get to speak to on a regular basis, many of whom I would consider friends. You just got to check out the official Boot Society on Instagram. that is, as much as it's a group of boot heads, it's a group of mates. So that's really nice. Antonio Aguilera, which boot has the better durability? This is a question, if you've ever seen it asked on some of my videos, that I always avoid answering fully because there's too many variables. I'll give an answer, but the answer is always basically, I don't know. There's a few reasons for that. One being that it depends how you use your boots. So what your gait's like, what your running style's like, how heavy you are, whether you wear your boots particularly tight, particularly loose, what surfaces you play on, the temperature, how you store them. These are all variable factors, and I can't tell what you do with your boots. And then on top of that, because I'm testing so many boots all the time, I don't spend enough time in any one pair of boots in order to be able to tell you what the durability is like. I don't spend 6 months to a year wearing the same pair of boots to tell you if something breaks. If something breaks in the anywhere between, say, 10 and 30 hours that I put into them, then sure, I'll let you know, but I usually don't know, so I don't comment on the durability. That doesn't answer your question, because I can't answer your question. I'm very sorry. Levi Winter, should I stock up on boots I like? Why not? I have an unnatural number of pairs of... If you've watched the channel before, you know exactly where I'm going with this. They're up here. These, the Adidas NEMEZIZ, a boot that I am a huge fan of. If you watch the channel, you know I'm a huge fan of these. I have an SG pair, I have an AG pair in the old AG pattern, and I have three FG pairs, two in the 19.1 and one in the 0.1. So there's nothing wrong with stocking up on boots that you like. You don't have to get the newest boots. They're not always the best. Wear what you like, wear what fits you, wear what you're comfortable in. So if there's something you really, really want to wear, and for example, say they're super cheap right now, not a bad idea to pick them up, because boots and a lot of other collectible things, they kind of have a cycle where they're released in their retail price, right? And then they start to drop off, they go into sale, and then they get to a point where they're like rock bottom prices, super on sale, nobody really wants them, old boot, maybe a year, 2 years old, 3 years old, something like that. Nobody's really interested. And then a lot of boots will start to climb back up in value because people see them as like they're either retro or they're collectible, or people are starting to look for them and there's less of them around, so the price starts to go back up. So you want to kind of like hit that rock bottom, and that's when you buy. So yeah. Kind of yes, I suppose, is the answer. And what else have we got? QWERTY, QUERTY. Somebody spent too much time on a keyboard. My dream boot from different boot parts. 1 second. Oh, why? No, I haven't. Here we go. I am trying, or going to try, and make my own dream boot very soon. I'm missing one piece. When that comes through, I'm going to try and make it. I'll record the whole thing, put it up on the channel. But I'm going to attempt to make the NEMEZIZ, it'd be the 0.1, not the 19.1. I'm going to take the upper off this, and the biggest problem, or the thing that needs to be changed the most to make this perfect boot, is the sole plate. So I'm going to take the sole plate off, and I'm going to put this on it, which is the Gambatrax outsole, the messy Gambatrax outsole. So I'm going to put this, thank you to Jay from boothype.com for sending this over to me. I'm going to put this sole plate on this boot and hopefully create myself something magical. Gemma, Puma Ultra 2.2 or 3.2, do I recommend? Check out Tim and I from Top Bins Talk, the podcast discussing the takedown, basically the first tier takedown. The Puma naming system baffles me all the time. The first tier takedown, we don't recommend it, not in any way, shape or form. The second tier takedown it's not better than the first tier takedown, but based on what you would expect, it's not quite as bad. It's actually right here, just come to mention it, because I'm going to be reviewing it very, very soon. Do I recommend it? There's better boots out there than both of them for the same amount of money. Okay, keeping on going here. Ones I didn't answer. AA Bestic, what do you think of Corona beer? I don't drink Corona, but I do like Mexican beer. That's That's the answer. Cerveza, I'm on for some of that. Eric Diaz, Vapor 13s or 14s, same retail price, which one? It's a hard question. I am tempted to say 13 just because it's the upper doesn't have any real creasing. It softens up into something pretty malleable, and the toe box is a bit wider in the 14. I prefer the slightly tighter in the 13. I think that would be my general response. If I was to tell everybody, I'd be like, which boot is maybe better? But I think personally, I maybe prefer playing in the 14. I go to my Superfly 8s quite regularly at the moment. So yeah, that's sort of an answer, right? There you go. Hey, Bestic again. Do you ever play in TF? No, I don't play on turf very often. If I do play on turf, it's AG turf, and I use AG Pro or AG boots for that generally. So I very, very rarely use turf boots, which is why I don't have very many reviews of them on the channel. Soccernaga, who is your all-time favourite footballer? Growing up, Peter Schmeichel and Roy Keane, as I am a Man United fan. Peter Schmeichel really is the reason that I decided that I wanted to be a goalkeeper. Huge inspiration. And Roy Keane, I've always liked players that kind of had that like do or die mentality. So like my favorite England player was Stuart Pearce. That kind of all fit together. Yeah, they're probably my favorites. Dean Kiley as well. So I'm from York in the UK, and Dean Kiley was the goalkeeper when I used to go down and watch them. I have a shirt of his that's signed by like all the York City players. It's match worn. So I'm very like Dean Kiley is a huge influence as well, and one of my all-time favorite players. Soccer Knocker again wants to know my favorite football movie. I'm British. Bend It Like Beckham, of course, has to be in there, and Goal. Goal is, I think, everybody up with everybody's favorite football movies. What else we got? Sim061, why do some boot releases go exclusively to some stores? So it's kind of what I said earlier about the way that kind of stores deals with brands work. And then there'll be, on top of that, there are some exclusive releases. For example, the ProDirect Predator Mutator from last year. That's a specific agreement between ProDirect and Adidas that's just where that goes. And it's all to do with revenue, how much money is spent, who pays who. It's a whole thing, but it's all about deals between brands and retailers. My man, Yuli, Quetzalcoatl, I'm going to say it like that. I'll put his name up on screen. Holy Grail boot that I don't have. And we need more Hamilton. Hamilton is my cat, in case anybody hasn't noticed or doesn't know. He is asleep right now, so he probably won't feature in this video. I apologize. Holy Grail boot at this point, I probably would be to get my hands on more pro issue boots, just because they're a bit different. So I think the messy, a pair of messy pro issues would be like right up with like a Holy Grail boot for me to get hold of, just for the customizations and things like that. So that would probably be up there. Like, obviously you could say Ronaldo, but I don't like the messy one because of the customizations that he has, the sole plate, the burrito style tongue. There's just more to it that would really interest me. So that is probably right at the top of my list. And I can't think of just a general release boot right now that I would be like, drop everything, I need that. It would probably be a pro issue at this point. Liam Mule 1 wants to do more goalie reviews. Please go to @DelairFootball and send him some messages. We are going to get him onto the channel more to do some goalie reviews, because that's what he does. He is my guy for the goalie reviews because he's better at it than me. So we'll get him back on the channel very soon. He can do that. Football Francis wants to know, could they stop making the Tiempo out of leather, maybe use synthetic leather instead? I would say they could. Nike seem to have been moving towards less leather, more kind of technologically advanced, more forward-thinking Tiempos for quite some time now. The leather seems to be less and less important with every Tiempo, but can I see a Tiempo with no leather on it? Probably not. Marko Todorovic, I'm going to say that and hope for the best. What direction do I think football boots could go in the future? I think the next big step, the next revolutionary thing really should be boots that are custom fitted to you. You can scan your feet and boots will be made specifically to your foot shape, your foot size. And I think that is basically the future of football boots. There's already a company that kind of have some kind of beta testing, I suppose, going on for things like this, which I'm signed up for. So as soon as there's any info on that, I will be in like a shot. But I would imagine that that is probably going to be that's my call for the next thing that should revolutionize football at least. Dorian Calloway, favorite boot of all time? Oh, that's a big question. Favorite football boot of all time? I suppose I'm going to give a cop-out answer because I would have to think about that for a lot longer. It might be the Predator Mania because it's the first top-end boot that I ever bought with my own money and I have kind of fond memories of it. I don't think it's the best performing boot of all time, but I have very good memories of the Predator Mania. So I'm going to say that, and if I change my mind later, I'll get back to you. Spencer T, best boot ever made, not by Nike, Adidas, and Puma. It would be somewhat remiss of me to not pick a Lotto boot, would it? Considering my general love for Lotto boots. This is probably, again, a bit of a cop-out. It's maybe not the best boot ever made, but it's definitely one of the most important boots ever made, the Lotto Zero Gravity, boot that I'm a huge fan of. I really like wearing. I think it's a great boot. And I think what that stands for, based on where we are with today's football boots, could be huge. So yes, Lotto Zero Gravity is what I'm going for there. Del Air Football, the man who you need to go to bug about goalkeeping glove reviews. He will be on the channel soon. Don't bug him too much. He has a newborn child to take care of. Like, don't overbug this man. De Gea or Henderson is his answer, is his question. And my answer at this time is, I think Henderson is worthy of a shot. And when you consider his age, it's probably beneficial to hold on to a keeper of that standard at the age that he is. I don't think De Gea is a bad goalkeeper. I don't think he's past it in any way, shape or form. And there's certain things he does that just set him apart from Henderson in certain areas, like his shot stopping, I think, is better. His distribution is better. But I don't know. He doesn't seem to be focused these days, which is huge for goalkeepers. And Henderson, he looks to be hungry. Like, his desire to take that number one spot at United and for England is huge. And I think that plays a big part. I also like the way Henderson plays. I love the way he communicates. So we'll have to see, I suppose. I'm rolling the cop-out answers right now, aren't I? Best knit upper for touch and feel on the ball, Vapor 13 Elite, because it's my favorite knit upper. It's not necessarily the best knit. I think maybe the Evo knit that Puma have might actually be a better constructed knit. I know that sounds weird, but yeah, I think the Vapor 13 knit is pretty fantastic. Philip Hedzik, how do I get my boots? Are top-of-the-line boots much better than takedowns? So how do I get my boots? I buy them. Same way you go and buy them. I'll make a whole video on this generally, but on the whole, 99% of what you see behind me, I have purchased with my own money. I work a full-time job. I'm a bartender, so I spend all my money on football boots. And are top-of-the-line boots much better than takedowns? If you ever get the chance to buy a top of the line over the takedown, 99% of the time, the answer is yes, buy the top end boot. And I would always say, if you can buy, say you can buy a current Predator 20.2 and you really want that something, but you can go back and pick up an older top end model in something, then pick up the top end model. The only time that this maybe doesn't apply is plus and 0.1 models with Adidas, because frequently the 0.1 model is better, but I consider the plus and 0.1 co-top end models. So I hope that makes sense. Kelly Fricasse. I don't know, I wrote these down very badly. Which would you rather be killed off, the Phantom GT or the Nemesis? That's so mean. So I like the Phantom GT. It is generally, a lot of people don't like it, and especially within kind of like groups that I'm in, the Phantom GT gets a lot of stick for not being a great boot. It's actually a boot that I really like. The OC Boot Blog's just got a pair, and he seems to really like them as well. So, but realistically, like personally, I of course have to say keep the Nemesis because it's my favorite. But if you look at it logically, the Nemesis should go, because if the Phantom GT goes, then Nike only have 2 lines, and having 3 is kind of 3 and 3. That's Nike, makes more sense. But the Nemesis is my favorite boot of the 2. So I would keep the Nemesis from a purely personal and selfish point of view. Speaking of the OC Boot Blog, my favorite Man City women's player was his question. And the answer is very simple. It's Lucy Bronze, because she is my favorite football player in the world. And I don't mean favorite women's player. She is my favorite football player, men's, women's, otherwise. She is my favorite. She is phenomenal. She is an unbelievable footballer that within women's football has revolutionized her position as a right back. She's just fantastic. So yes, there you go. That's my answer to Ollie over at the OC Boot Blog. Go and check out his Instagram and also check out his YouTube. He's got a really great YouTube channel with some really short, quick breakdowns of certain things, which I really, really like. That's all the questions. I think I have answered every single question that I didn't answer in the initial Q&A. If I didn't answer your question, please put it down in the comments and I will make a part 3 and I will answer all of those questions there. So I hope I have given you some insight into a few different things there. If you want more Q&As, if you want another live Q&A, again, let me know. But most importantly, do hit the like button. Get subscribed to the channel if you're not already, so you get notified when those live streams go live and when my next video goes live. And you can do that by clicking the bell icon. That's all from me here at BootWizard today. If you want to support us, head to patreon.com/BootWizard. We will see you soon.